Hello friends, how y'all doing? We're doing a little review here of some basic questions. This would be chapter 5 in the Black Book for level 3 and 4 grammar. I'm just going to do a little review here, some basic things, and let's first begin starting off with two basic kinds of questions, and that is a yes or no question. And as the name suggests, yes or no is the answer. We're not looking for any specific information, simply a yes or no answer. And an information question, and as the name suggests, we're looking for some information, not just yes or no. The basic difference in a yes or no question or an information question is one word, and that is an adverb, one of those WH question words: who, whom, whose, what, where, when, why, which, and the exceptional question word how. And here's a couple of examples. So questions, yes, no question versus an information question. If it is a yes or a no question, it always begins with the auxiliary verb or the verb be only, like this. Did you see that? And the answer is yes, I did, or no, I didn't. Have you ever surfed? The answer is yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Will you be here again? Yes, I will, or no, I won't. The answer always incorporates the same auxiliary verb from the beginning of the question. Did you? Yes, I did, no, I didn't. Have you ever? Yes, I have, no, I haven't. Will you? Yes, I will. No, I won't. Be careful with your short answers, and remember, you're always incorporating the same auxiliary verb from the question. A very common error is this, especially the verb have or want, for example, are very common questions, and a common error might be something like this. Do you have any pets? And a person might respond, yes, I have. No. Do you have? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Have you ever had pets? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Do you want to get some sushi? Yes, I want. No. Do you want? Yes, I do. No, I don't. If you respond with a yes or no question, and you respond with the main verb, you need to introduce an object. Some either mention the noun again or use a word that functions like a pronoun. For example, a non-count noun like sushi. Do you want some sushi? Yes, I want some. Would you like any sushi? Yes, I would like some sushi. But you cannot say, do you want some? Yes, I want. No. Do you? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Okay, and then on the other hand, we have the information questions. And again, the fundamental difference is that information question word. Basically, normally, usually, the order stays the same, and you're only using one of those information question words. So, where have they gone? The information, we're asking about a location. Where? Where have they gone? I'm not sure. I'll find out. I'll call them. Whom did you see? We're asking about a person. Whom did you see? Oh, I saw one of the neighbors. I'll give you a short explanation about the difference between who and whom. It's subject and object. It's not very difficult. How long should it take? We're asking about the quantity, the length of time necessary to do something. Now again, normally, the only difference is that question word. So for example, have they gone? Yes, they have. No, they haven't. Where have they gone? Oh, I'm not sure, but let me call them and I'll find out. So again, yes or no, give me some information. Did you see? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Whom did you see? Oh, I saw one of the neighbors. Again, yes, I did. No, I didn't. One of the neighbors. So basically, the fundamental difference is one word, one of those information question words, or yes or no, only beginning with the auxiliary verb. There are a couple of exceptions, of course, and let's take a look at a couple of examples here. So again, the yes/no questions always begin with an auxiliary verb, and you respond the short answer with the auxiliary verb. The information questions, well, you respond with the information that the information question word asks for. Okay, let's do a couple of examples. There is an exception, a common exception to the word order. But let's go ahead and take a look at the basic word order of yes or no questions and information questions. And it's basically like this. Okay? So first is going to be the question word, and that's one of those WH question words. The second is going to be the auxiliary verb. The third word in the order is going to be the subject, and then the fourth word order is going to be the main verb. So let's do and this is, again, standard, very common. I'm sure that you're familiar with these information question words. So here we go, something like this. So the question word, we'll go right here, right? Auxiliary verb, the subject, and then the main verb, like this. So example, question word, what time? Auxiliary verb, did, simple past tense. Subject, Martha, and then the main verb would be like get, and then question mark. So what time did Martha get home? That's our standard regular word order. And again, what's the difference between the yes or no question or the information question? One word, what time? So again, did Martha get home? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. What time did Martha get home? Around 7:30. So, yes or no, give me information. That's the standard difference between a yes or no question and an information question. Let's look at another one like this. How long will you take at work? And again, there's the information question word, how long, there's the auxiliary verb, there's the subject, and there's the main verb. How long will you take at work? And we're asking about with how long is the length of time necessary to do something. One more. Take a look at one more. When can they repair the air conditioning? Again, question word, when. Auxiliary verb, can. Subject, oops, I made a little mistake. They. Main verb, repair. When can they repair the air conditioner? Can they repair the air conditioner? Yes, they can. No, they can't. When can they repair the air conditioner? Hopefully as soon as possible is the answer, right? If the air conditioner is broken. Okay, so again, there's the fundamental difference between a yes or a no question and an information question. It's one word. It's the adverb, the information question word, and we'll go over them in just a minute. But there is a common exception to this, and that is when we ask questions with who or what. And the question word, who or what, can function as the subject of the question. And then there is no auxiliary verb. That's a little bit different. We're asking for the subject of the complete answer. Let's take a quick look at that. And those, again, are just a couple of common exceptions with these words. Sometimes the question word who or the question word what, they can function as subjects. And when they function as subjects, we'll make a couple of notes here. First of all, there is no auxiliary verb do. There's no auxiliary verb do. Okay? And then really they are asking for the subject in the complete answer. So that's a couple of things to remember. So, for example, here would be a really, really common question using this form would be something like this. What happened? That's a very, very common question. What happened? And you really need to have that good pronunciation on the end of the verb right there. Happened, like this. Duh. If you don't pronounce that clearly and it sounds like this, what happened? That is everybody understands you, but you really need to work on that. Listen, English grammar is not hard. The pronunciation can be difficult for non-native speakers, especially with a small sound like this. Happened. A native speaker doesn't really over-accentuate that final d sound. We do not say this. What happened? No, it's like fast and soft. What happened? What happened? Like that. Practice that. That's really important. Again, here, what we have is this. Who, or what are functioning as the subject of the question, and they're asking for the subject in the complete answer. Now look, when you ask a question, you're not thinking, well, am I asking for the subject or the object in the complete? No, you need to be spontaneous. You're going to memorize some common phrases and common expressions, so you're not thinking before you speak or you write. Am I asking for that? No, that's not natural. So you're going to memorize some common phrases and expressions like this one. What happened? So for example, then the answer could be something like this. A strange thing happened. And of course, right there, a strange thing, of course, that is the subject. Here's the verb. So again, what happened? A strange thing happened. Nothing happened. An accident happened. We're asking for the subject of the complete answer. That's an exception. It is not correct. We do not say this. What did happen? No, it's what happened. That one, you already know. It's a very, very common high frequency question. Let's look at another example with who. Watch, something like this. Who came to the event? Who came to the event? Well, who, again, is functioning as the subject of the question. Right there's the verb, right? Who came to the event? And the answer would be like this. Most employees came to the event. And again, the subject is right here, most employees, and then here's the verb, came, right? So again, the word who is functioning as the subject of the question. Who came to the event? And the information you want is right here. Most employees came to the event. It is not correct. We do not say this. Who did come to the event? No. Who came to the event? So there's an exception to the standard. Remember, standard word order is this. Question word, 1. Auxiliary verb, 2. Subject, 3. Main verb, 4. Question word, auxiliary verb, subject, main verb. That's standard. This is an exception. We're asking for the subject in the complete answer. And the 2 words are this. The question words, who and what, are the ones that we most commonly use for this exception in the question. And again, very, very common questions with who or what. And again, of course, who is asking for people and what is asking for things. We can do right now, let's do a quick little review of the information question words, okay? And these are, we call these the WH information question words. And those WH information question words are adverbs. Now, is that important for you to know that they are adverbs? Not really, but it's not a lot of information to memorize, and it's nice to know that. We just need to know, right, what is the function of the word? What does it mean? What is the information that it asks for? Obviously, that's the important part. So right here, we'll go down the list, and the first one is this, who. And of course, who is asking for people, and those are going to be subjects. It has a cousin, whom, with an M, the same word but just with an M, and whom is also asking for people, but it's asking for them in the object position. Who is for subjects and whom is for objects. In American English, usually it is not necessary to use whom. We can almost always use who, and it is correct. Whom is considered a little bit more formal. And there are a couple of situations when it is only correct to use whom. And we'll give you a couple of examples. But again, normally you can use who in any situation and it is correct. If you use whom correctly, it sounds really nice, very, a little bit more formal and, like, excuse me, I know English. Sure. Okay, so they ask for people. Then the next one is whose. And whose asks about possession. And the pronunciation is this, just like who, but with this in the final position. Z, whose asks about possession. It can be asking about an information question, and also whose, like the other information question words, they can also have another function. They can introduce a clause, an adjective clause. And we're going to have another video going over the adjective clauses. So these words function as information question words, and they can introduce adjective clauses as well. Who, whom, whose, what, of course, asks about things, and it also asks about animals too. The next one, where, of course, is asking about a location or a place, right? Where is asking about a location or a place. When is asking about a time or a date. Of course, you can always ask a more specific question for time. What time? We're asking literally for the time on a clock. What time? 2 o'clock. You can also ask about time just using when. Like, when will you be home? And we're asking for a time. But for a date, we need to use the word when and not what time. Like, Like, when is your birthday? Or when is Independence Day? Etc., etc., etc. So when asks for a time or a date. The next one is why, and why is asking for a reason or an explanation. A reason or an explanation. Why did this happen? Why did you do that? We were asking for a reason or an explanation. Why? Another one, the last WH question word is this word, which, and it's asking about options or choices or selections. These are the fundamental, and again, WH information question words, because they all begin with WH, as you can see right here. And they are who, whom, whose, what, where, when, why, and which. Those are the information question words. Now, there is one more question word. You know it. Maybe you're already thinking, this one. How. That is an exceptional information question word. Why? Well, first of all, we can see WH, right? WH. Who, whom, whose, what, where, when, why, which. And then this one, how. There is no W. Okay, now, how basically is going to ask about this. It's going to ask about a condition. How are you? How's everything going? How's your new job? How's your new supervisor, etc. Asking about a condition. It can also ask about a manner, or we could say a method, or a way, or a procedure. How can ask about a method, a way, a procedure, a protocol, etc. And how can also ask this. 1,000,000 other questions. Now, am I exaggerating when I say 1,000,000 other questions? Yes, I'm exaggerating. But how is a very exceptional question word, and there are many different kinds of questions that we can ask with how. You need to give this word, how, a little bit of extra attention and always consider the context. What does it mean in this case? Now, there are others common, like how long, asking them how long, asking about how much time is necessary to do something. How long does it take to cook rice? We're asking about the length of time necessary to do something. How far do you live from the school? We're asking about a distance. Okay? How long? How far? How often do you exercise? Not enough, probably, right? Me too. Ask how often is asking about frequency, of course. How much? We're asking about quantity for non-count nouns. How many? We're asking about quantity for count nouns. How much time do you need? That's a non-count noun. How many hours do you need? That's a count noun. And of course, talking about money, price, the very common question is how much, right? How much? We're probably all familiar with that. But the word how also can introduce an adjective, and it's asking about the degree of whatever the adjective means. So for example, if you say, I feel sick. Well, sick, the adjective sick, has a range, right? It has degrees of sickness. You can feel sick, and it's just a little bit like, my nose is stuffy and maybe my throat itches, but I feel pretty good. I have energy. I can go out and do something. I'm ready to eat dinner, but I feel a little sick. Or all the way to, oh my God, I'm dying in bed with a fever. Kill me. I absolute terrible, right? So if you say to somebody, I feel sick, they could respond to you, how sick are you? And they're asking about the degree. And it depends, of course, on the context of the situation, but how expensive, how sick, how hungry, etc. There's almost no limit to the questions we can ask with how. So yes, I'm exaggerating a little bit when I say a million other questions, but there is almost no limit. There are many, many questions that we can ask with how. Okay, so there's a basic review of yes or no questions, information questions, and again, these are the common information question words. Let's do maybe one more quick example here. We're coming up on 30 minutes. Let's do one more quick example with who and whom. It's a very, very common question that students ask is, what is the difference between who and whom? All right, here we go. So let's do a quick example with that. And again, they both ask for people. They both ask for people, but who asks for subjects and whom asks for objects. So let's take a look at that. And again, when you ask questions or you're writing in English, you're not really thinking, am I asking for the subject or the... No. But let's analyze it and take a look at the complete answer. And basically it's this: the position of the information that you want in the complete answer. Is it in the subject position or is it in the object position? And that is the difference between who and whom. So I'm going to write it, I'll do an example like this. Here's A, that's going to be the question. And now here's B, and this is going to represent the answer, okay? So a very, very simple, easy example would be something like this. Look. So the short answer is just this: Bob. Right? Now the long answer is this: Susan loves Bob. Okay, now there's the long answer. So here's the information that you want, Bob. Now here's of course, there of course is the verb, right? And then Susan of course is the subject. And then Bob, that's the information that we want in our question, is located in the object position. So again, here's the information that you want, and it is located in the object position of the long, complete answer. So the question now, that's the information that we want. So the question now, that's the question word that we're going to ask right there, and that's this, the object, and that is this, whom. Now it's simple present tense, so the auxiliary verb is this: whom does Susan love? Whom does Susan love? Well, there's our verb again right there, and there's our subject right there, right? So subject, verb, they stay in the same place, but there's the information that we want, and that's how we would ask an information question with whom. Whom does Susan love? Bob. Susan loves Bob. So Bob, it's located in the object position, and that's when we use whom correctly. Now, like we mentioned in the beginning of this video, it is perfectly correct and standard and a little bit more common too. And that is just to use this, who. Who does Susan love? Bob. Susan loves Bob. Who is always correct when you're asking a question for the subject or the object. But remember, it sounds really nice, like, if you use whom correctly, just a little bit more, it's considered more formal, okay? And there it is right there. Whom does Susan love? Now, let's do another example. Let's do another example. And I'm going to use now the same exact long answer, but now we're going to have a different information right here. Susan, and that's the short answer, but the long answer is going to be the same thing, just like this. Susan loves Bob. There's the long answer. And again, here it is. Susan is the subject. Susan is the subject. And loves is the verb. And of course, Bob is the object right there. But now look, the information, the short answer, the information that we want is located where? Well, it's right here. It's located in the subject position. That's where we have that exceptional question with no auxiliary verb. And that is this. So right here now, this is going to be the information that we want. It's located in the subject position. And so the sentence, the question is simply this. Who loves Bob? Who loves Bob? And again, there's the verb, same thing. And there's the object right there, Bob. But the information that we want is located in the subject position of the long answer, and that's when we have that exceptional question with no auxiliary verb do. That's this. Who loves Bob? It is not correct to say who does love Bob. No. Who loves Bob? And in this case, when you're asking for the subject, it is never possible, it is never correct to say this. Whom loves Bob? That is not possible. We can never use whom as a subject. We can use whom as an object only, and we can also use who as an object. And that is, again, probably more common in standard, everyday, informal context, but it sounds really nice when you can use whom correctly. Now, there are other situations when you can use, when you need to use whom only, and that is basically as the object of a preposition. And we'll go over that in another video. We'll do a couple more videos on some questions, but again, this would be a very, very basic review of information questions versus yes or no questions. It's chapter 5 in the Black Book in level 3 and 4 grammar. But even if you're in level 5 grammar, it's always, nice to have a little review. And there it is, guys. So we're over 30 minutes now. Excuse me. I think that's the signal. My voice is telling me, yeah, that's enough for now. So I hope that this helps, and I'll see you guys in class soon. Take care.